Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this flip card in a card. It flips twice, so you sort of have to work for the inside greeting. I made something similar not so long ago, only it flips, but nothing hides anything. You open one card to get the greeting and then you open the next one to get what's on the inside. This one sort of interlocks with itself. It's not very complicated, so without further ado, let me bring in the ingredients and show you how we make it. So it starts, the base is a piece of cardstock. This is berry burst and it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so that fits into a standard envelope. The middle layer, if you want to call it that, is 8 1/2 by 4 and it's scored at 5 1/4. The flippy piece, again, it's berry burst and it's 8 1/2 by 2 1/2 and it's scored at 4 1/4. There are 2 pieces of designer series paper. I got these from Delightful Floral because I just love this designer series paper. It's so pretty. You could use the same, of course, but I chose to use 2 different pieces. So the larger piece that goes on the inside is 3 3/4 by 5, and the smaller piece, which fits on the front, is 3 3/4 by 3. And then there are the 2 basic white pieces for the little inside flippy flap part, and they are 2 1/4 by 4. Now the nice thing about the Delightful Floral is it comes with a sheet. Quite a lot of the designer series papers are doing this now, where there's a big sheet of sort of independent pieces that you can fussy cut out, so you don't necessarily need to own the stamp set. I do have the stamp set for this one, but I'm not going to use it today, just to show the versatility. So you can fussy cut these pieces out, which is what I did. I've got a whole bag full and I've used them quite often. But then there are the pieces down the side which aren't full flower, but they're still very usable. And when this was so skinny on the front, this really lent itself to have some of the extra little pieces that had fussy cut without this edge. They just fit nicely. They're big enough and full enough that you can use them, but you wouldn't be able to put them in the middle of somewhere, for example, because it would have a really straight seam. So this is the fussy cut piece that I got to use for this one. The one I'm using for the one we'll be making is just slightly different. And it also came with lots of little bits of greenie, which you'll see I popped in the bottom corner. So let's get going. So the card base just sits there for now. And then we'll take the piece of the bubble bath, which was the 8 1/2 by 4, scored at 5 1/4, and we'll just give that a nice crease, so that makes the body of the card. Then we'll go ahead and pop the designer series paper on the 2 layers. So there's the one that goes inside is the bigger piece, and there's the smaller piece which goes on the front. So we're just going to leave the nice little border around, nice and even. Flip this one up and pop that one into its place, and then we can actually just go ahead and pop that onto the berry burst postcard size, I think is what you call it when it's just a quarter sheet. So we'll pop that into place on there, so you can see it's coming together really quite quickly. Then the 8 1/2 by 2 1/2 scored at 4 1/4, so we'll just go ahead and give that a nice crease. Seems I didn't exactly score mine, or it must have landed in the trough a little bit off. So what we'll do is we will attach this to the middle of here. We just eyeball it into the middle. Oops. And then we can put one of the white layers on the inside. I often say when I make cards that are pretty light, if it's a darker color, you will need a lighter layer so that you'll be able to write on it. And this is exactly one of those instances. Then I'm just going to bring in the little silicone mat, because I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of the little leaves, and I don't want to overflow and get sticky on my work surface. So that's the inside done. Now we just need to build the outside, and like I say, it's just got enough that it will fit. In this case it overhangs a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be detrimental. But the first thing we're going to do is stamp the greeting. This is actually a greeting I got from a past paper pumpkin kit. It came from March of 2022. And Paper Pumpkin came out in March of 2013, and every year on the anniversary the kit gets an extra gift, and there was a whole stamp set extra in March of 22, and this is one of the stamps from that. So we'll pop the greeting on. Again, I'm just going to bring in the silicone mat because I don't want any of the sticky bits, oops, to overhang when I'm going down the edges. This one really is big enough that I could have done it with dimensionals, but I still thought I would go ahead and stick it on to show you the concept. So as long as you don't go too far up, I suppose, and then it really just sits like that, and then layers onto the front of the card. And that's it. How deliciously quick and easy is that? So here's the original with one of the fussy cut edge flowers, let's call it. And here is another one. So they're both as stunning as each other, and they've both got their little piece. Oh, I've got a little bit of, I've got a glue booger. And then there's plenty light area that you can write the inside greeting. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing or give me a thumbs up. If you've got a question or want to pass a comment, pop those in the box below. I'll always try to answer questions or reply to a comment. All the dimensions will be on my blog, and the link for that will be in the bottom, but it's here in case you want to make a note of it. The Zoom classes I'm doing are going quite well. I'm starting with basic ones, but I'm thinking of going into more advanced ones. So if that's something you think you would be interested in, it's sort of like a quick impromptu poll, put a little comment in the box below and I would send you details and see if it was something you would be interested in. But that's them 2 double card on a card flips. Thanks so much for watching.